what I just decided to talk to you guys about, which is why must the SnyderVerse happen? Okay, why must the SnyderVerse happen? And there are multiple reasons for that. Let me just relax a little bit there, sit down here and chill out a little bit and talk to you guys. One of the major reasons is, I think I did that in one of my articles I put out today. One of the major reasons, Marvel doesn't do what DC does. Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 will be about how Darkseid succeeds at getting the anti-life equation and controlling Superman on planet Earth. We live in a sort of post-apocalyptic time. This means that you're talking about a time when Superman is evil. No Marvel film has taken one character and carried them through such an evolution. Zack Snyder's stretching Superman. He's carrying him from learning to be Superman to having to take the responsibility of being Superman and it being murdered, killed, to coming back and being that beacon of hope, only to be set up to flip over to the dark side, to flip back into the light in Justice League Part 3. So you gotta understand, Zack Snyder's Justice League Parts 1, 2, and 3 is better than any Marvel film in terms of the protagonist becoming the antagonist to become the protagonist again. It's fantastic. And this is what Toby Emmerich and Sarnoff and Walter Hamada are trying to block from happening. And to me, that's the stupidest thing you could ever do. That's Zack Snyder's take on Justice League is the hottest thing out there. And I'll put up the storyboards from AT&T Stadium now. A number of people colored the storyboards. I can't remember who they are, but they actually colored them. Colored Jim Lee storyboards. So I'll show you guys that. But just that fact alone, there must be a SnyderVerse. The only excitement and the only build up to anything is Justice League. And Justice League Part 2 is going to be epically built up to what's, because I can see now the story being changed a bit. Especially, I think the story could be changed with respect to Black Adam being in the story, Shazam being in the story. There were some other villains that were supposed to be in the story. Lex Luthor was still forming a league of his own. Part 2 is going to have that. So I'm just saying that, by and large, Justice League Part 2 is going to be epic. It's going to be epic. I mean, epic on epic proportions. It's supposed to be kind of following the Lord of the Rings sort of thing, but really epic. Kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings, where some characters you don't know if they're good or bad or whatever. And I think that's the same thing we're going to see here in Justice League Part 2. And now we know what it's going to be from the old storyboards. There are new storyboards for it. Now, here's my second reason why the SnyderVerse must happen. So it's the hottest property out there, bar none. Snyder Cut's just doing ridiculous numbers in China right now. Well, I think the last readout was Blee is like, 20 million. Migu, I think it is like 180 million views. And I think the other thing, I think it's 10 cent somewhere around, I don't know, it was 15 million, it was 7 million, I guess it's 15 million now. So we're talking about like 205, 210, 215 million views we're talking about already in China. It's close to breaking um, the Avengers, I think, Endgame or Infinity War record in China. The Chinese love it. And the week's almost up. I mean, tomorrow's Friday. So by Friday, we'll really know the real figures, but it's just ridiculous. It's gung ho nuts. And well, actually, it's going to be a week. So that thing next week, Tuesday, sorry, next week, Tuesday would be a week in China. And we'll just see the numbers. The numbers are going to be extraordinary. They're going to be extraordinary numbers. And this would be the only other film to make bank and box office like that. It's the number one film in China, and for the second week in a row, of course, it's the number one film in the UK. We'll see how Mortal Kombat does over there, but it's just extraordinary. And of course, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead is going to be in cinemas on May the 14th. If you guys can get near to a cinema which is showing it, you guys should pretty much go in there and have a look at it. You know what I mean? I would do that if I could see it in the cinemas. I don't know if I can. I may have to wait till Netflix on the 20, what is it, 21st? On the 21st. But it's okay. I mean, I don't mind. I'll wait. Some people, they can't wait to review Army of the Dead as well. So, that's really dope. Hey, let me just share with you guys a little bit of scripture here that I have in front of me. Matthew chapter 5 again. Apparently, I'm in Matthew chapter 5 says, verse 17, "Don't think that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Truly I say to you, till heaven and earth passes away, not one jot or tittle shall be removed from the law until all is fulfilled." All right. So a lot I want to say. First thing is, you do realize, guys, that this solar system is not going to last forever, right? Because the sun is going to enlarge and, first of all, probably engulf most of the solar system. And then on top of that, it's probably going to either explode as a supernova or implode on itself, and that'll be it. Either way, nothing lasts forever right now in this plane of existence. Everything in the universe is expendable and will have a shelf life. And I just think that it's really awesome reading this scripture because what this scripture says is that those things will be done away with when they're fulfilled. And so when Jesus fulfilled the scripture, it was done away with and something new came. It's very hard to understand the concept of eternity, but an easy way to think about it is think of a timeline, okay? And things are expending on it. So something begins and it ends, and something else begins and ends. Once there's something existing, then there's time. And if there's time, that's eternity. That's the idea behind it. So I think that's what eternity is, to be honest with you. But just going into a couple other things, a couple other very important points, and I think Lightcast really put it really succinctly and beautifully. Toby Emmerich looks like he's out the door. AT&T was not satisfied, and also the higher ups like Jason Keeler, and even a lot of people at Warner Brothers really are dissatisfied with Toby Emmerich and his team of people, Aaron Sarnoff and even Walter Hamada. They're kind of not happy that they're taking a stance where they're trying to excise Zack Snyder's world or universe. They're trying to cut it out, and there's no actual reason for that. Um, Let me just bring to you guys' attention, for those of you who don't know, in 2016, Batman v Superman, along with Suicide Squad, banked $1.6 billion, a little bit over that. And the thing about it is that the merchandising that happened then was the record high. In fact, it was the second highest peak Warner Brothers ever had in market share. They were in their history, in 20-year history. Um, Toby Emmerich took over in 2017. That dropped. And then in 2000, we are now in 2020, it is the lowest market share value Warner Brothers has in 20 something years. Let me just make this abundantly clear so people understand why Toby Emmerich has to go and Ann Sarnoff. It's because, one, in terms of entertainment, in terms of DC Properties entertainment, not particularly the other Warner Brother picture films, but we could talk about that too. There is a dissatisfaction with the audience and with the fan base concerning DC Properties and the decisions they make. With respect to Warner Brother Pictures films, there's a dissatisfaction amongst the people that work for them, such as directors. So you have Christopher Nolan's looking to go somewhere else. Patty Jenkins doesn't want to do any more projects with Warner Brothers right now. She's thinking about, Lucasfilm and Star Wars. A lot of directors are dissatisfied with how they were treated by Warner Brothers. And again, particularly Toby Emmerich and his regime have been tone deaf and also just not paying attention to the directors there, to the fans, to the general audience at certain times, to other workers in their establishment, and to the creative people like the actors, etc. They've shown that they're just bent on one particular way of doing things and they're going to do it. And I just feel that Jeff Johns is behind that, trying to pull strings. Even though he's outside of the circle, he's still trying to pull strings and call in favors on the inside. And he's only destroying and hurting Warner Brothers. He's never really done anything to help Warner Brothers, as far as I'm concerned. And I almost feel like he's an agent of Marvel, like he's doing Marvel's work. Like, Disney and Marvel are like happy this dude's got his fingers in stuff. Because it's just like a plague. And the people who follow his philosophy are like a plague. They're coming with outdated ideas that don't work. They've been proven not to work with DC properties and DC characters. It just don't work. And they're constantly trying to force this particular narrative on people when the majority of their fan base is not really impressed or excited about that. Now, I haven't gone into the cinema and watched Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey. I haven't gone into cinema and see Aquaman. I haven't gone into the cinema and see Shazam. The only thing I went in the cinema to see from the so-called SnyderVerse, what people are clowning and calling Hamada burgers, was Wonder Woman 84. And it let me down. And Patty Jenkins had a very, you could see she's not satisfied with what happened. So all I'm going to say is that we're in a period of time where there's a lot of disillusioned fans out there, DC fans. They're going to have DC fandom. Um, but who really wants to see DC fandom? Not a lot of people are enthused to see DC fandom. You know why? Because they took the thing that was hyping up everything, the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut hyped up Flash. The Snyder Cut hyped up Cyborg. The Snyder Cut hyped up Wonder Woman. The Snyder Cut hyped up New Gods. The Snyder Cut hyped up Superman. Everything that the Snyder Cut was hyping up, Ann Sarnoff and Walter Hamada are talking down. So the Flash movie is suffering for that. They're not even promoting Matt Reeves' movie. They're not really interested in Matt Reeves' movie. They're interested in Super Pets, Shazam 2, Wonder Woman 3, Black Adam. That's what they're interested in. And that's what you're going to get them pushing. They're going to push Matt Reeves' film, obviously. But I don't feel the excitement anymore for that universe. James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I'm sure James Gunn's Suicide Squad is going to be great for some people. I might even enjoy it, but I'm not enthused for it. Why? Because you take a film like the Snyder Cut that's killing it all over the world and in the United States, and you're an adversary for it, and you're not talking about the Ayer cut. You're saying the Ayer cut will never come out. For what reason? As David Ayer said, why? Why not? How's that going to hurt anything? Has nothing to do with currency. It has nothing to do with money. James Wan's The Trench. All of a sudden, cut. Why? That's not a multi-million dollar costing movie. And these are the kinds of things that a lot of people watch and say, "What?" Power hungry people, as like Cass said. Power hungry people want to show how much power and influence they have in the industry. They're not interested in the company. They're not interested in seeing it develop. They're interested in themselves. I've been saying it all along. I wasn't lying. It's confirmed now. A lot of people see that, and people in the industry see it as well. And they're like, this was probably the old way that you guys used to do things, but we're not with it. I remember Kevin Tsuchihara, particularly, and I remember how he was against Man of Steel. And I believe that people inside of Warner Brothers sabotaged Man of Steel. That's why everybody in Warner Brothers wasn't 100% behind their product. And I believe Jeff Johns had something to do with that as well. And all I'm saying is, if your greatest enemy is your own company that produces stuff for you, then you're always going to have this stumbling block in your way. AT&T is 100% behind Zach. Greg Silverman was 100% behind Zach, but Kevin Tsuchihara wasn't, and Jeff Johns wasn't. We know this for a fact now. And I'm saying, I don't know how John Berg got caught up in that, but I'm just saying, John Berg looks like he's a decent dude. But I'm just saying, look at the quality of stuff that came from Jeff Johns. Look at the quality of stuff that came from Toby Emmerich. Subpar, substandard, trying to be Marvel. Look at the stuff that came out under Walter Hamada. Subpar, trying to be Marvel. Okay? And my thing is this, and I'm gonna end it before 20 minutes is in. My thing is this. What are you trying to accomplish with DC films? Oh, we're trying to go back to the qualities and the times when heroes were seen as hopeful and why do you think that's not happening with the heroes that you have that Zack Snyder was portraying? It's a different time. People are not as naive, you know. And yes, different directors have different ways of portraying their characters, but at the end of the day, I mean, if it's effective and it's making money, why do you have a problem with it? And there's nothing, they can't argue a single point about Zack Snyder's Justice League. He can't. Critically, it was a success. Commercially, it's a tremendous success. And universally, everybody likes it. So why are you against him making more movies? You have nothing to stand on. And that alone is going to be the downfall of Warner Brothers because they need those kinds of movies. They need those kinds of home runs. And if you look at them, Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada have struck out a number of times. Walter Hamada, why are we having a Joker movie? Okay, and that breaks $1 billion. Right? They were behind the Aquaman movie with James Wan. That made $1 billion. There's their only win. Okay. They back Wonder Woman 84. It flopped in the theaters. They did not back Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's broken $1 billion, and that's just streaming and rentals. That's broken $1 billion. Let's just be real for what it is. It's broken $1 billion. Now I hear, it's a rumor, I don't think it's true, that they're greenlit a Joker 2 movie, which, why would Todd Phillips do a Joker 2? Why can Phoenix do a Joker 2? That just makes no sense. So I don't think that's true. But the point is, at the end of the day, They rub Christopher Nolan the wrong way, and Christopher Nolan is a guy who does quality movies. Where they should have been focusing on getting his movie into the theater and having it successful, they weren't pushing for that. They were doing some kind of stupidness. They put Christopher Nolan's Tenet on on HBO Max without his permission. This is the kind of way all these people do business. You know what I'm saying? So no, you think AT&T is going to be silent watching all this nonsense? They've seen it since 2017. No, it's not going to continue. AT&T will put their foot down and get these people fired. And Toby Emmert's out the door. His foot's out the door. He's going to get booted. So he might as well start looking for a new job. Next to follow, Ann Sarnoff. Okay. So these people don't adjust themselves and get themselves in line because they feel they're immune. They're not accountable to anyone, and they can spin things. No, it doesn't work like that. In the real world, people need value for their money. And Warner Brother Pictures has been hemorrhaging money for the last 4 years. Don't tell me about no COVID, because it's been on a downward swing for 4 years. Losing market share every single year. Why? Because you didn't want to continue with Zack Snyder's vision. And you constantly tampered with his vision. Anyways, people, I got to wrap it up right here. I'm going to catch you guys later. I am Christ, I am disciple. But the SnyderVerse will continue. That's a guarantee. That is their golden ticket, because they have nothing big planned in the future. And this J.J. Abrams nonsense that they're talking about, that's fool's gold. Fool's gold. So I'll catch you guys later. Peace.